Over the last few weeks, I've been talking about taking control of your career, communicating your value, building patterns, inhabiting authority, and learning to accept resistance. But the part I probably haven't said clearly enough is you can't do this by yourself. And I don't mean that in this trite motivational poster way. I mean it practically. Most architects who are ambitious, conscientious, and genuinely capable end up making the same mistake at some point. We try to prove that we're capable by being low maintenance. We think that by not bothering anyone, by not needing anyone, and by only bringing updates when they're clean or positive, we're signalling that we're management material. But honestly, that is exactly how you quietly cut yourself off from the thing that makes you better. All the people around you. We know that there's this version of professionalism that gets rewarded early on, keeping your head down, delivering, solving problems, and definitely not creating drama. So when you start to care about the promotion or being trusted with more responsibility, it is easy to take that simple logic and over-apply it. You start to think, if I'm good, I'll figure it out myself. If I look capable, people will think I am, and if I keep it smooth, my bosses will trust me. But the thing I found is looking capable by staying silent doesn't make you promotable. It makes you harder to manage, harder to support, and harder to advocate for. When you stop communicating, you don't just remove the help of your peers, you remove any sense of context. And without context, even the most supportive bosses, colleagues, or collaborators can't step in or understand your work effectively. Let me tell you a story. During lockdown, I was running this high-end residential project on my own. I was capable and doing a good job, if I do say so myself, but communication was hard. It wasn't the normal day-to-day environment where your boss can see the work unfolding through proximity, quick conversations, and the general rhythm of in-person practice. It was fragmented, remote, and we all had a lot going on. Whilst I probably wasn't ready, honestly, I wanted a promotion, and therefore I was desperate to look capable. So I did what a lot of ambitious and naive people do. I made myself easy. I kept people at arm's length, only sharing outcomes and staying quiet on the messy bits that I would sort out myself. From my side, it was about signalling competence, but from my boss's side, it created uncertainty. They struggled because at a basic level, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know the project well enough to help, and because I'd not been communicating consistently, they didn't have the context to understand what I was doing or really needed when I finally asked. So when I did eventually go for help, it was a struggle, a surprise, and unnecessarily complicated, second-guessing all the decisions that I had made previously, like someone marking my homework. The issue wasn't because I was failing or doing the work wrong, but because I'd trained this dynamic to operate without visibility. I thought it would build trust, but it did the exact opposite. I learned that silence doesn't protect your reputation, it creates blind spots, and blind spots are where risk grows. In previous issues of this newsletter, I spoke about the useful idea that you should try and come to your boss with solutions, not just problems. Now, I still believe that, and it's how you build trust, but as with most things in life, there is nuance that matters. Bring solutions, but don't disappear while you build them. If you misunderstand that principle, it turns into something potentially dangerous. You only communicate when you have the answer, and you delay potential risky updates until you have good news. You're slowly closing yourself off, suffering in silence, and sometimes hiding issues that, honestly, you might not be ready to deal with yet. All this because you're trying to keep up appearances. I always think about it like those kids at school with their arms shielding their desk while they work so no one could copy. I've known a few of those architects before. Good communication is filtered, not just silent. The goal isn't to overwhelm people with every thought that you have. The goal is to keep a steady signal so the people around you can understand what matters. Give feedback early, spot risks sooner than you can, and support you before the issues become expensive. A really simple way to do this, especially with your boss, is to keep your updates in 4 parts. What it is, with 1 sentence, why it matters, so the risk, decision, deadline, client expectation, what you recommend, so your proposed next step, and what you need, a decision, a steer, simply just to make them aware. This is how you stay capable and connected. And it isn't just for your bosses, it's for clients too. They want to be part of the process. They want to understand the project and they want to see that you're in control and actually working on it. Silence just creates confusion, speculation, and worry. A quick update works wonders. So if trying to do it all alone doesn't really get you far, why do we still do it? So many architects at different stages of their career are still heads down, not communicating, and ultimately struggling. It's wanting to appear capable, or is it ego, or is it because they don't know who to ask? The reality is that every architect that you admire has been standing on the shoulders of other people. Some of that support came from inside the profession, their directors, project leads, consultants, contractors, clients, peers, and a lot of it came from outside the profession too. People who taught them how to communicate, how to lead, how to manage uncertainty, how to negotiate, how to think in systems, and how to stay human under pressure. What looks like some individual brilliance is usually someone plugged into this web of feedback, challenges, and support. Nobody advances alone. They advance together, and the price of trying to do it all alone is just stress. Slower growth, weaker judgment, and bigger mistakes. And ultimately, that's where I come in. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, about how the best growth I've had comes from the right conversations at the right time. Not just technical skills, but someone helping me to see a blind spot or giving me the language for something I was struggling to articulate. The industry doesn't make that easy. Mentoring happens, but it's often informal, accidental, or gatekept. So I'm building something more intentional. On the 6th of April, I'll be launching the Architects Instruction Community, a free, mentoring-led space where architects can actually have these conversations. Not a job board and not software tutorials, a room for the stuff that actually moves your career forward. Leadership, communication, confidence, positioning, and influence. I'll be there, and I want to bring professionals together to share, support, and grow together. If you're tired of drifting and ready to take some control, I would love to have you as part of our founding group. I'll be sending some more details as we get closer to the launch, but in the meantime, I want to know what your biggest career question is, the one that you're sitting with right now. Let me know, and I'll speak to you next week.